Aaron and Rob here. We're going to actually talk about the movement standards for the Validus game. So we're going to break down each event, and we're literally on this video just talking about the movement standard. That's it. So there are things we're scaling because I don't feel like running 100 meters or pushing a prowler 50 meters. So keep that stuff in mind. We're going to start up here with event 1, the 100-meter run hang snatch event. Okay, so pretty straightforward and simple. As far as the run goes, all of the athletes will start at their barbell. Okay, when time is called, we go, 3, 2, 1, go. They're going to run across 100 meters to the opposing building. All 6 athletes need to put one hand on the wall. Okay, there will be a judge down there checking to make sure that you actually make contact with the opposing wall. From here, I turn, I run all the way back. Okay, so pretty simple. We're running from the barbell to an opposite side, which is going to be explained in the run-through video. As far as the hang snatch goes, as far as standards, okay, it's a hang position, so I get the barbell up however I want to. You have to show control at the top, so I don't want to see this and then hang snatch. Okay, I show control at the top. I go only as low as the knee. Okay, so not that you would want to for some god-awful reason, but we are not allowing any below the knee hang snatches. It will all be above the knee. As far as whether it's power or full squat, it's completely on you, completely on the athlete, whatever you need to do to get it done. So I can do a high hang snatch. Okay, I could do a mid-thigh snatch. Okay, and I could go just above the knee if I wanted to. Okay, if I want to turn that into a squat snatch, that's fine. As long as at the end of the movement, you show control, hips locked out, knees locked out, elbows locked out overhead, wait for the down signal, down, barbell comes down. Okay? What we're not looking for, what we can't have, is at the top position, here, where the hips and knees are locked out, here, where the hips are still not locked out. This is the position we're looking for. Okay? No bent elbows, no bent knees, no bent hips. That's event 1. On to event 2. Event 2 is the sandbag squat AMRAP, the double under AMRAP, and the prowler push AMRAP. There's going to be 2 athletes per every single one of these. Okay? So we're going to head on over, we're going to talk about the sandbag squat. As far as the actual standards for the squat itself, the sandbag is not allowed to rest on your shoulders, on your hips, anything. You have to hold it in a bear hug style position. So, I get the bag up here. I can have it nice and high. I can be holding it low, not that you want to. What you are not allowed to do is rest it on the shoulder. It is also not, during the transition of the squat, allowed to fall and rest on the knee. Okay? So bear hug position, I go down to a full range of motion squat, showing the hip crease below the knee. Okay? If the sandbag grazes the floor, that's fine. From here, I drive up all the way, full lock out of the hips and the knees. Okay? As far as athletes helping themselves or helping each other unload this up, if Dan's up next after I drop the sandbag, I am not allowed to pick the sandbag up for Dan and hand it to him. Okay? That is not allowed. What I am allowed to do is hold 2 ends of it up with a part of the sandbag still touching the floor for him to get a better grip. The first rep does not count. So pulling it up out of the hole does not count as a squat. He stands up, he shows control, he goes through one full awesome squat, stands all the way up, little crack of the knees, good to go. Okay? Thanks, sir. As far as double unders, pretty straightforward. Rope has to pass under the feet twice. Nothing to it. As far as switching back and forth, if the athlete accidentally hits their foot, even on the first one, next one goes back to the other athlete. It goes back and forth. So you're not having multiple attempts. It's not hit one and then go on. It's anytime you fail, next athlete takes over. Okay? Last thing we're going to talk about is the prowler push. Come outside. This is obviously scaled. Okay? I'm going to push this thing like 5 meters because it's early and I'm tired. You go starting completely on the one side of the line. On the way down for the first rep is high bars. Tall bars, you can grab it wherever you want. Push. Completely past the second line. Okay? On the way back, you must transfer to the other side of the sled, and you're going low bars on the way back. Nothing to it. As far as actual positioning, style of pushing, I could give 2 craps less, guys. All right? Just make sure you start on one side of the line, and you make it completely over those lines for both those points. So we're moving on to event 3. Event 3 is for Annabeth. It's a combination of Fran, Diane, and Elizabeth. Very common workouts. You guys should be very familiar with these movements, but we're going to go ahead and cover all the movements right out of the gate. So first one is Fran. That's your couplet of thrusters and pull-ups, okay? So, as far as the thruster goes, full range of motion squat, we're looking for the hip to get below the knee, okay? Full drive overhead for the press. Elbows locked out, shoulders locked out, knees and hips locked out, head through the hole, okay? We will absolutely allow your first rep to be a squat clean thruster. So if I come off the floor, without actually falling over as I demo, that's perfectly acceptable as long as you show full range of motion in the squats, full lockout overhead, okay? Elbows cannot be bent at the top. Head has got to be through the hole. So a couple of no reps. This is not depth. Okay? This is me not locking my elbows. Okay? This is me locking my elbows and not getting my head through. Okay? Full range of motion, hips below knees, full lockout over top, head through the hole. Thruster. Okay? Pull-ups. Any style grip is acceptable, any style pull-up is acceptable. As long as you don't kick off the wall, your elbows lock out at the bottom, your chin gets up overhead. So, full lock out at the bottom, chin all the way over the bar at the top. Alright? We don't want to see any half reps. Okay? Full lock out here. If I get up and I don't get the chin over, no rep. Okay? Full lock out at the bottom, full lock out over top. If you want to do a dead hang, have at it. If you want to mix your grip, have at it. But full lock out at the bottom, chin over the bar at the top. Pretty simple. Okay? Move on to Diane. Getting tired. Deadlifts. Hands have to be outside of the hips. Okay? So no sumo style deadlift. Hands outside of the hips, tight butt, tight stomach. Here, full lock out at the top. Hips, knees, locked out, shoulders behind the bar. You don't need to shrug up, but you do need to have shoulders behind the bar. In between each rep, barbell touches the floor, lock out at the top. Barbell touches the floor, lock out at the top. Pretty straightforward, right? Handstand push-ups. Hi guys. Grip width is actually going to be marked out by duct tape, so you got to stay inside the duct tape line. You can do them strict. You can do them kipping. Okay? That doesn't matter. All that matters is at the top, the elbows are locked out, the head's through the hole, and the heels are touching the ground. What we don't want to see is this. Coming off the wall as you do that, and we need to see the elbows lock out. Pretty straightforward. Okay? Last section of event 3 is the power cleans and ring dips. Barbell starts on the floor, lands in a fully controlled locked position overhead. Tight butt, tight stomach, elbows in front of the bar. Okay? They can be down here, but they've got to show in front. They can't be underneath. Okay? A couple of no rep moves we're looking for. Come up. This is not full lockout, full extension. This has to be full lockout, full extension. Elbows through. Pretty simple. Last one. Ring dips. They can be strict, they can be kipping, however the hell you guys want to do them. Doesn't bother me at all. What we're looking for is elbows above shoulders at the bottom. Okay? Full lockout at the top. Okay? So we don't want this. All the way down, all the way up. Full lockout. Cool? It's event 3. And we're on to event 4. I'm about to pass out because I'm tired. Alright? So 3,000 meter row along with the hundreds of kettlebell swing burpees and pull-ups. So we're going to talk about essentially what we're looking for standard-wise on here. For the row, it's pretty straightforward. Sit down, start rowing. Right? Tick over to 3,000. What I don't want to see is during transition, me rowing while he's getting off. So let's say he starts to row, he grabs, he pulls a couple strokes, he's getting tired, we're switching into transition. Okay? What I don't want to see as he's getting off the rower is athlete number 2 pulling. Okay? And I'm saying this because I've actually seen it in a competition out in Michigan about 3 years ago. Okay? Once the athlete is off the rower, then the next person can get on and touch. But while there's any contact with the rower at any given time, only one athlete can make that contact. Okay? Understood? Awesome. Kettlebell swings. Basic American standard. So we are going up overhead of this position. We don't need the straight up barbell cant or the straight up kettlebell cant like the regional standards back in the day. All we need to see is ears in line with shoulders. That's it. If the bell cants forward a little bit, it's perfectly acceptable. Hips locked out, knees locked out, head through the hole. That's all we're looking for. So this would be a no rep. This would be a no rep. This is a good rep. All the way through. Bar over burpees. Pretty simple. We're going lateral. Chest touches the floor. Jump up. Over the bar. Back down. Chest touches the floor. Jump up. Over the bar. We're looking for jump off 2 feet, land on 2 feet. So, outside of the chest not touching the floor, which would be a no rep, when I jump over, I can't see this. Jump off 2 feet, land on 2 feet. Down. Oop. Cool. As far as pull-ups, just talked about them. See that for it. On to event 5. 4-minute, finding a 1 rep max on a bench press, followed by 4 minutes of max effort handstand walks. They have to be 8 foot unbroken. We'll talk to that a little bit more. So we're going to walk over. Dan's going to demo some bench for us. We're going to talk about some of the standards, okay? As far as grip, all right, all we are requiring is that the inner knurling mark, your hands fall inside of it. So as far as a narrow grip or a wide grip, I don't care, but your pinky has to stay inside the inside knurling mark, okay? So, understood, pretty straightforward. If you like to go a little bit of a wider grip, you can be here. If you want to go basic mid grip, you can be here. Shit, if you want to do narrow grip, have at it, okay? But you got to stay inside of that. What we're trying to avoid is the 2-inch bench press, okay? We're going to have you guys pull it out. He is going to lower down and show control. He can fire up nice and fast as he goes through. Lower down, show control, fire up nice and fast. When we say show control, that doesn't mean you have to slow the whole way down. What we are avoiding is the bounce, okay, where he actually bounces it off of his rib cage. 1, for insurance liability issues, we don't want to see that stuff. But 2, we want to show legitimate control under the barbell and legitimate strength. So, he can come down relatively fast as long as he shows that control and fires up at the top. It is also not a pause, okay? We're not going to make you hold it on your chest and up. That's not what we're looking for either. Just show control on the way down and then fire up on the way up, okay? Your other athletes on your team will be spotting you. Here's the rule. If your spotter touches the barbell before it's called for a good rep, it's a no rep. So I don't want to see, as he goes down, if he's struggling on the way up, if I touch the barbell at all, it's automatically a no rep. Okay? If we get the, oh shit, I'm about to get buried under this, then yes, absolutely the spotter is there to grab onto the barbell and pull it back into the rack. But for us to know it's a successful rep, you have to do it on your own. Okay? So again, he's going to unrack. I can help him unrack. 3, 2, 1, boom. He sets, my hands come off. He lowers through a good successful bench, boom. Okay? If he's on his way down, he comes back up, and I just start to do this, and I touch that bar, automatic no rep. Okay? He locks the arms out, holds it for a half a second to wait for a good call, good lift, rack. Okay? So, spotters there for safety, you're spotting each other, but if you touch the barbell, it's automatically a no rep unless it's already been called a good lift. Cool? And we'll deal with that a little more today. Thank you, sir. The next section is the 8-foot unbroken handstand walk. Okay? Pretty straightforward. We need both of your hands to start on either on this side of the starting line, and both of your hands need to touch on the other side with your feet never touching. Alright? So, I go through the whole entire thing. Good rep. Okay? If I start and a fingertip goes over, automatic no rep, we go on to the next athlete. Okay? If I get moving, and only one hand passes, automatic no rep, okay? As far as showing control, I honestly don't care. As long as both hands start on this side, both hands end on the other side, that's fine. So if you want to do the cannonball run, as long as both of your freaking hands start on that side of the line and get to the other side of the line, thumbs up. But you should definitely work on your handstands, alright? On to the final event, event 6, okay? That's the drags along with the 20 hand release push-ups, 20 kettlebell press, and 20 overhead squats. So we are not going to be talking about the drags or anything like that. You'll see that in the event walkthrough. we are just going to talk about the movement standards for all the motions. Okay? So we're going to start first and foremost with a hand release push-up. Pretty straightforward. I get into a good solid position, lower down, hands come up, hands move. I don't care how you do it, okay, as long as you're showing that you're on the ground, fully locked. From here, boom, elbows lock out at the top. A couple of things we can't see. Obviously, if you don't show the hand release, that's a no rep. What we also don't want to see is the snake push-up, where the chest comes up first and the knees come up after. So the knees need to rise with the chest. I can get into an overextended position, that's fine, but my knees cannot be on the ground as my chest is rising. Okay, so again, all the way down, hands move up, hands move up, hands move up, however you want to do it. Pretty straightforward hand release push-ups. Okay, we move on to the kettlebell press. How you get them to your chest is completely up to you, good form, bad form, hopefully it's good form. But in the rack, we need thumbs in contact with shoulder. Okay? So I don't want this. Thumbs make contact with the shoulder in some form or fashion. Okay? I make my dip, my press, locked out elbows over top. Kettlebells are over the heels. Okay? So they're not pressed out in front, they're not out wide here. Over top of the shoulder, completely locked. Come back down, thumbs touch shoulders, again, drive and press. As far as the movement, it's just shoulder to overhead. So I can strict press, I can push press, I can push jerk. As long as at the top, elbows are locked out, hips are locked out, knees are locked out. Okay? So we're looking for not here, but here. Definitely not here, where you're stacking them on the biceps. Bells are out to the side, thumbs are relatively in contact with the shoulder. Any press from shoulder overhead counts as count. And our very, very last movement, the overhead squat. Okay? You can power snatch. Okay? You can clean it, put it over, reset. Don't really care. Okay? Or, again, your first rep can be an actual squat snatch. So if I fire through, perfectly acceptable as far as getting the bar overhead. Okay, that will count as one rep. As far as the actual squat, elbows locked out showing control, shoulders back, head neutral. I pass through a full range of motion squat like we talked about in event 2. Hips are getting below the knees, drive straight up, show full lockout. Okay, not here, not here, definitely not here. Full lockout at the top. So a couple of no reps. It's like barbell gymnastics. For any other questions, see the written down event standards or go ahead and send some emails over to Aaron at EndeavorDCF.com. We'll also have an athlete and judges meeting the morning of the event.